Greetings to you all. From heart to heart in this moment we speak. Many look upon the world and conclude that darkness is winning. We invite you to consider another possibility. The light has become so powerful that what once hid in the shadows can no longer remain concealed. The darkness is not increasing. It is being exposed. That which operated unseen for generations is now forced into the open, stripped of its disguise as the frequency of Earth continues to rise. These are not signs of humanity's decline. They are unmistakable signs of its accelerated awakening. As consciousness expands, deception loses its ability to remain hidden. Every institution built upon distortion, every system sustained through fear, and every mask worn to maintain illusion will be revealed. This is why so much appears to be unraveling. The Great Unveiling has begun. Do not mistake revelation for defeat. Exposure is the final stage before transformation. What is now coming into the light is not being shown to instill fear, but to offer every soul one final opportunity to see clearly, choose consciously, and align with a higher path before the next phase of humanity's evolution unfolds. All the light to you. What this time holds for you is your liberation, your healing, and the awakening of your creative power. What is being brought about today through the grace of God is being brought about within you, within the human being who embarked on the journey to Earth eons ago to be and to become, to experience life and death. This great cycle is completing itself on this earth, and countless people are returning to their Creator. You are finding your way back to the source that sent you into this universe to live as human beings among human beings and to unearth the treasure of enlightenment. Now the circle of many lives is complete. People are becoming aware of their divine nature and are healing in mind, soul, and body. Everything is subordinated to and devoted to this healing on all levels. For what is humanity as long as it wallows in pain, sinks in suffering, and must exist far from peace? Today, people are brought to their senses, and they begin to remember where they come from and why they are here. Remember what the meaning of life is, where the soul was before this life, and where it returns to after this life. Today, people are rediscovering their hearts and recognizing themselves in the reflection of this time. They recognize the game that has been and is still being played on this earth. They become aware of their own role and begin to examine it. Am I truly myself, or am I living someone else's life? Am I fulfilling my purpose, or am I bound to this world by external influences and whispers? Was I born into this world by chance, or is a divine plan working through me, leading me back to earth? Does God truly exist, or is he a figment of my imagination and wishful thinking? These are the kinds of new questions that are being raised for the first time by more and more people and urgently demand an answer. Because those who begin to remember have no time to wait. The time that seemed frozen in time, when everything appeared eternally set in stone, is over and is dying before your eyes. The time of self-denial, self-deception, and self-betrayal is over. Denying your divine nature, negating your spiritual origin, and ignoring your unique mission, that is over. Humanity is awakening. This awakening, this transformation of humanity, changes everything and is the prerequisite for the miracles that are now happening and that will shape the future. Look upon those who remain trapped in dense matter with your compassion, with your love, with your wisdom. For some, the path is coming to an end, while for others, the journey on this level of experience has only just begun. To look at people with love in this way and to understand the course of the world is worthy of the awakened, any other attitude testifies to a lack of understanding, wisdom, and compassion. This message, however, is about you, beloved one, about you who are ready to take the final steps, to completely renew and perfect yourself. This message is about you who are ready to step out of the false life, accept your calling, and, connected with God, ascend. Ascension is not a change of location. The process of ascending does not involve moving somewhere else, but rather a change of your perspective and your inner attitudes. You need neither a suitcase nor provisions for your ascent, because all changes happen silently, first within you. Wherever you are, their descent or ascent takes place. Who can escape from themselves, and where to? Where is the place of light, peace, and love, if not within yourself? Your ascent does not promise you being beamed away from earth. Quite the opposite. Ascension signifies the beginning of your true life, is determined by your complete devotion to the earth and humanity, and is only perfected by accepting and fulfilling your tasks. Where else can you ascend but to God? What other life can you enter but your own? Everything is there, is within you, or wherever you seek it. There is no God in heaven unless He is alive within you. Having realized this truth means understanding the ascension process, and suddenly everything is different. You feel important and are perfectly content in your life, just as it is now. It does not all have to be perfect, beautiful, or promise you happiness. What matters is taking your place, living your life, and being aware of it day by day. Joy arises when you follow your path. Everything else falls into place naturally. You are a divine being. What prevents you from unfolding your potential and shaping your life with your power? I tell you, it is a lack of self-confidence and a lack of awareness. With this message, we will remove this veil of ignorance so that you feel right where you are, so that life brings you joy and no longer gives you any reason to escape. Because many people are exhausted and often do not know what to do next. They are massively burdened by the phenomena of the times and the spirit of the age, and they long for a different life, to no longer be here, to ascend, to beam themselves to another plane, just to escape these phenomena of the times. A power struggle is raging over the earth. Those who want to stay must leave, and those who want to leave must stay. There is chaos, and it is difficult to maintain inner harmony in an environment of war. Often, the discrepancy between inner peace and the fighting outside is almost impossible to overcome. The challenge of our time is this: while the world is going crazy and humanity is acting crazy, to remain an anchor of calm and peace, and to face all the phenomena of the times with serenity and insight. We will now dedicate ourselves to this task. The task is how you can spiritually renew yourself so profoundly that you feel right and important in this world, and begin to understand yourself as part of the divine plan. For the great gap between inner and outer perception can only be bridged when the meaning of these days is understood and you find your own purpose in life. Only the meaningfulness of everything that exists allows you to understand, persevere, and follow your path to the end. Thus, we have arrived at the first and most important step. To escape the drama of life, you need the realization that neither suffering nor pain is necessary for your inner and outer growth. Only when you are completely convinced of this truth will your life take a new direction. Those who live in the divine order neither cause pain nor suffering to themselves or their neighbors. This fundamental law of life not only changes your view of yourself, but it fundamentally changes your perception of this reality. It is the greatest of all errors to believe that growth can only be achieved through pain. Although religions derive their legitimacy from this, nothing could be more wrong than imposing a cross on people or rallying them behind a sword. This error is now being exposed as a sin. For whoever mistreats themselves or their neighbor sins against creation and against life. People are beginning to understand that pain only causes more pain, and suffering only causes more suffering. They are realizing that growth must be linked to joy in order to take root, and is not bound to pain. Those who will not listen must feel. Many people would agree with this statement. How do we get out of this situation, since these patterns are deeply ingrained and determine our actions and decisions? The process of liberation has been underway for years. More and more people are questioning conventional beliefs and trying to break free from certain patterns. This process is unstoppable, gaining increasing momentum and yielding visible results soon. People are no longer willing to be talked into anything or have everything done to them. The tide has turned and continues to turn. What is happening is truly awe-inspiring, as more and more people are inwardly declaring themselves ready for complete healing and the total renewal of their spirit. These decisions were and are first made on the mental and spiritual level. This explains why this awakening is not initially visible to many people. It is a silent process that first establishes itself internally and gradually reaches a person's everyday consciousness. A person who awakens suddenly comes into contact with unusual new thoughts and makes decisions that were previously unimaginable. What occurs to an awakening person has very little to do with the life they lived before. To understand that neither pain nor suffering is necessary for growth, and even more so, to understand that every pain and every suffering represents an obstacle on the spiritual path, is a masterful achievement. For a person who has had to cope for millennia and many lifetimes with a world in which this error was paramount and part of a self-fulfilling experience, leaving this belief system means not only liberation from their own mental prison, but also leaving this matrix that is held together only by this concept of suffering. Your path to enlightenment leads across the bridge of this realization. This is fundamental, essential, and foundational to the spiritual path and the path to God. That is what it is all about. Your complete spiritual renewal happens free of pain and solely through the pure perception of what is. Your complete spiritual renewal occurs by dissolving or destroying all programs that cause suffering. Your complete spiritual renewal happens when you become fully aware of your own divinity and beauty. The second important factor for you to renew yourself is to stop devaluing yourself and instead recognize your own worth. You often judge yourself harshly, you condemn yourself, and when you fail, you lose your self-confidence and belief in yourself. Dissatisfaction is the opposite of peace, and judgment is the opposite of acceptance. The essential thing is that you do not apply the standards imposed on you by a sick world to yourself. The truth is, your spiritual reality needs no validation. It is sufficient unto itself. Until you have internalized this truth, you will need external success and seek validation from the outside world, often for a lifetime. This may lead to a great career, but not to self-knowledge. How do you define success? Is it when you follow yourself and your heart, or when you adopt the world's definition? Success at this level of being has been predefined for people, so they forget how meaningless it is to meet the expectations of others while denying their own needs. From a spiritual perspective, pursuing a career means racing around in circles on the track of earthly life until you no longer want to or can no longer continue. This day will inevitably come for everyone, because no one can permanently live contrary to the needs of their soul. One day you sense that something is wrong with you and your life. An unfamiliar restlessness grips your heart. You begin to ask the right questions and are determined to find the answers. Once you reach this crossroads, you have arrived at the point for your complete spiritual renewal. Then the process of transformation begins, and everything that came before fades away. What the world wanted to give you loses its meaning for you. Instead, what you want to give to the world gains value and determines your thoughts, feelings, and actions from now on. For it is not time that shapes you, but you who shape time. Once this fundamental shift in consciousness has taken place within you, then you are the architect of your present and the architect of your future. Before the crucial invocation that will allow you to enter this renewal process and be led through it by God, let the essence of this message be repeated. Growth free from pain and full of harmony and love corresponds to the divine order and the will of God. Treating yourself and others without judgment, lovingly and with compassion, corresponds to the divine order and your divinity. Take full responsibility for your spiritual renewal now. Forget the poison of weakening beliefs that have been instilled in you over millennia. Begin to remember who you truly are. And start now. Speak these words with your whole being. Repeat them 3 times, and then observe how God works with you and in what reflections God meets you. I am ready to take responsibility for my complete spiritual renewal now. I ask the divine light to heal me. I ask God to guide me. I ask for the grace of renewal. I am divine consciousness that is now renewed by God, in God, with God, and before God. I am that I am. Shreja Om Istar Om. Through your will for complete spiritual renewal, you have been raised to a new level of transformation, because what you do now, you do with God. And what God does for you now has a noticeable and, above all, visible effect on your life. Your complete renewal involves farewells. Farewells that make you forget the temporal phenomena that have blocked and undermined your growth for millennia and hundreds of lifetimes. God makes miracles possible where a person is ready for them. Being ready for miracles means to give everything up, to abandon everything, and to surrender everything, for what does not die cannot be reborn. Now God is omnipresent in your life. Your mind understands, your heart comprehends, and your spirit recognizes. The coming period is a good one. The coming days and weeks will show where people are headed, what they strive for, and what they orient themselves towards. There are great differences among people, but what unites you is to create experiences, to lose yourself and find your way back to the light. You stand where you stand, and you go where you go. It is your mission, your life, your purpose. You were born for it, so move towards it. For all people who follow this message of self-renewal, the following applies. Nothing that seems set in stone is eternal. Thus, people are now being empowered and led into their own strength and power. The outside serves you for this purpose. This contrast is necessary where a person's inner perception collides with their outer perception, causing them to begin searching in places they previously did not dare to look. You ask yourselves, how much worse can things get, or how bad does it have to get before people wake up? I tell you, you have left the realm of pain today, and you will never return to this playing field. The point at which people separate is reached on the day when God presents mankind with the final choice, to live as divine consciousness or to live as a human being who has forgotten God. These 2 paths are now open to the people, for the day of election and the day of decision have come. It is true that the process of liberation and forgetting painful experiences is triggered in people through this affirmation. Pain that still arises is a healing process in which harmful elements are burned away. At the same time, it is difficult for many people to let go of certain patterns. This resistance also creates pain and discomfort. You have entrusted your healing to the Creator Himself, and yet you find it difficult to let go of what is familiar. This is the beginning of your renewal, for now you will be confronted with your resistance until you surrender it or until you break under its weight and your heart becomes receptive to God. There is no more fundamental and profound orientation than that of being completely renewed by God. You give everything to receive everything. This is the path of the warrior of light, who does not seek enemies outside, but seeks out, recognizes, and defeats his adversaries within, step by step along the way, striving for insight upon insight, until the triumph of light is accomplished and you have awakened. And it happens that people choose this path because they are searching for the truth and yearning for God, ready to give up everything, ready to change everything in order to finally live. What blocks you must be healed. What hinders you must be removed. What burdens you must be redeemed, and what wants to destroy you must be destroyed. That is the only way to God. This radical inner realignment and transformation now taking place within humanity comes as a surprise to the powers of the cold light. For although humanity's spiritual work has not gone unnoticed, its scale surpasses all expectations, both on this side and beyond the veil. So do not worry for a moment. It will not come to the worst. Change will happen so that people can choose and decide, not by eliminating people who can decide. We, the powers of light, have repeatedly intervened in the past where your hands were tied, and we will continue to intervene in the future where certain entities give themselves over to their uncontrolled frenzy of destruction. Today it is all about human beings will have their hands freed, and the hands of the deceivers who arrogantly elevate themselves above all life will be bound. The awakening of humanity leads to this new dynamic, and it is important to understand that this is a process that takes time and unfolds with the precision characteristic of divine processes. All impatience must be met with this knowledge and confronted with wisdom. The day when the old game ends and the age of light begins is predetermined for humanity, yet it bears a different date for each person. You are loved for eternity. Most of you understand the basic principles of investing. If you invest your time or money in a good product or a solid institution, you have the potential to make more money than you would with a salary or hourly wage. Conversely, if you put your time or money into a poor product, one that no one is looking for, or into an unstable or unethical institution, you could easily lose your resources. Investing can help you understand a little more about how the energy you spend in your life brings you returns, for at all times, you are making investments in your future. The energy you emit through your thoughts and words and imbue in your actions is either an investment in a loving and desirable future or an investment in more of the same. Anything you do with love is a wise investment, for your joy will bring a return of greater joy. Anytime you speak with love or appreciation, you are also investing love and will inevitably see more to love or appreciate. Anytime you do something with upset, fear, doubt, or resentment, you are investing in lower vibrational energies that will only return more of the same. When you speak of something or someone negatively or with unpleasant emotion, you are investing in more negativity and frustration. That is not the return that most of you seek. So, as you go about your life, ask yourself, what future am I investing in this moment? Is it a future filled with love, joy, and abundance? If you are feeling content or happy, appreciating life, speaking kindly, and noticing all the good there is to see, you are investing in a beautiful future. If you are focused on all that is going wrong and who has wronged you, you are investing in a future filled with more of the same. Most of you have a mixture of energetic investments in the course of a day. Most of you have many more loving investments than you might realize. Even slightly more than 50% of positive investments will bring a kinder return. So your goal is not to be perfect, but rather to choose to invest your time, your thoughts, your words, and above all your energy in the investments most likely to bring you what you want to experience in life. If you were to pay more attention to how you invest your energy than to what others are doing, you would rise above the influence of others. If you were able to invest your energy in thoughts of appreciating abundance where it can be found, counting your blessings, noticing that item you got on sale, delighting in the penny from heaven. then you are investing in an increasingly abundant future. The good news is that you can change your energetic investment strategy in a single moment. Suppose you are having a challenging day. Everything appears to be frustrating you. You can stop for a moment. Pause. Take a few deep breaths and look for something to appreciate. Most of you have stable ground beneath your feet. Most of you eat well every day. Most of you have good people in your life. Most of you have read an inspiring quote that elevates your spirit or have a song that lifts you when your energy is low. Simply switch your investment from thoughts of frustration to thoughts of appreciation. Then go back to the things that frustrate you with new energy. They may still be frustrating, but you will be investing in their solution again instead of the injustice of their presence. A few moments of counting your blessings can put everything in perspective. There are times when you are lost in grief or fear. Still, you can find kind comforts for yourself. You can sit with your angels. You can call a friend. You can take a nap. Those tiny kindnesses are investments in a better feeling moment and, over time, a better feeling life. Even when you cannot fathom ever feeling good again, you can invest your pennies by choosing simple pleasures and small kindnesses. Your small investments in a kinder life will compound and help you return to feeling better over time. Dear ones, in every moment you are investing. Do your must-dos with love. Acknowledge the unpleasant or frustrating things in life, but give them less attention and less airtime. Focus on what is working, and from that space of gratitude, conquer the challenges. Acknowledge your own feelings, of course, then choose to love yourself through them, for love is always a wise investment. When you are sad and comfort yourself, you are investing in future comforts and kindness. When you are angry and give yourself the space to be, you are investing in a future where your emotions are accepted and you are loved through them. Not everyone and every situation will reflect your invested energy. Sometimes these investments take time to mature and ripen before you see the results in your life. Nonetheless, the investments you make today with your thoughts, words, and above all, energy are defining your future returns. God bless you. We love you so very much.